Robert Ray in Chicago. America's listening to Fox News.
From around the world, Trey Yingst, joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel. To Washington.
I'm Mike Emanuel.
To your own backyard. If a story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News...
Angle it here just to charge it. Okay. Has ever happened to you?
Not on that one, but on some chargers, yes.
Yeah, I gotta like angle it a little bit to the left to get it to charge, and then when I do it at night, if it's in my bed and I move around, I wake up at like 6%. Well, my phone, not me.
Okay, tag Kevin, Debbie Riley,
Yeah, Irish Bill. Is he on Facebook or just I'm friends with him on Twitter. Tomorrow night, senior night at the TP, since it's the last home game of the year.
Oh yeah.
That ought to be pretty quick. I think there's only two, Camry and Mike Collins.
Nice.
After high school, Mike Collins wants to go to UWF and major in cybersecurity. The way he protects the rim, I think he would be good at it.
All right, here we go.
She got caffeine, then he fucking...
Alright. Can we get it on this one? Or we're both at it? Am I at it that way? I can maybe try to get it. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We're about to go live on the radio. No Brady Brooks today, so I'll be in the other studio. But Kevin's going to be here. We're going to be joined on the phone today in the 3:30 hour by Miss Debbie Riley, Walton Beach City Councilwoman and good friend of mine. And then at 4 o'clock, another good friend of mine, Mr. Irish Bill, to talk about sports, big time sports over the weekend with the NFL playoffs. And obviously the big national championship tonight. If you'd like to be a part of things, you can give us a call here at 850-374-3468. Thank you very much for tuning in to Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing.
So we can call it the national championship. We don't have to call it the big game.
That's right.
Okay. That's just an NFL thing, the no fun league.
All right, here we go.
Are we going to cover XFL when it starts again?
There's nothing else to talk about.
Oh, you will be able to see you in there.
We are offering an $800 rebate when you switch your electric heat pump or propane furnace to natural and will cost much less.
There you go.
Or propane. Or if you want to upgrade your current natural gas furnace to a newer, more efficient model, you'll receive a $400 cash rebate. You know, it just might snow. Yeah. So stay warm and cozy this winter with the natural gas. Learn more at Okaloosa Gas. Ready to expand your real estate portfolio? At Waterstone Mortgage Corporation, they offer expert financing for investment properties. Loan amounts up to $10 million. Whether you're buying your first rental, developing your portfolio, or scaling up with a luxury investment, the Waterstone team makes the process smooth, fast, and tailored to your goals. Waterstone Mortgage Corporation. Local experts, big time solutions. Call 850-362-6901. 362-6901.
Be curious.
National headlines.
Mexico. For space. Walton. Hey. Hey, he just now got back with me, Stringer. He said, yeah, whatever works for you guys.
Oh, okay. 4:30.
So we'll call it. Okay. So I'll say I called it 4:33.
Yeah.
I am doing good, and funny enough, Fort Walton is also my hometown.
Oh, it's man, small town.
Absolutely, I was born in a small town.
Yep, and we should try that in a small town.
Yeah, born and raised in a small town.
I know no other lyrics.
That's the only John Mellencamp lyrics I even know.
You know, how was your weekend?
I worked all weekend, so not good.
Wow, man, I had the exact opposite. Exact opposite. Of course, it was my birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I won't call it my birthday weekend. I hate it when people do that when they have a whole birthday month, and then it's their birthday week, and then it's the countdown to their birthday weekend. I try to just have my one and only birthday, but my girlfriend treated it like a birthday weekend, and it was really great.
Now, she was in attendance. Does your girlfriend know you dropped an F-bomb in the turkey bowl?
You know, yeah, probably. And she brings up the 2 touchdowns that I scored. I had a pretty consequential touchdown.
Yeah, that was a real turning point in that 9-8 battle,
Yeah.
or in football terms, 63-56.
Oh man, that's not too much defense was playing that day.
Not a whole lot of defense, especially not out of Judd England. I expected more out of him.
You know, we've got a lot to unpack today, and I got to start with the big headline that everyone's probably buzzing about, and that's the snow that we got in Oklahoma County yesterday, actually falling from the sky, cover the yard, make a snowball snow. Not quite, but we did get a little bit. And what makes it even crazier is that we're almost exactly 1 year removed from last year's historic snowfall. Of course, that's the one that gave parts of our county 8 inches of accumulation. 8 inches.
Well, that's what I was wondering. After last year, if this year was even worth bringing up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's any time that you get any sort of noticeable snow in the Panhandle, it's historic.
Yeah.
I know we were very spoiled by last year, but if you remove last year from the equation, then yesterday was a huge event.
Now, it seems to me, maybe you can jog my memory, did we not receive snow when we were at the now defunct Ocean City Elementary?
We did, twice actually.
Okay.
Once in February of '84, 83 or
84 sticks out.
And that was about an inch and a half or so, and then we had another dusting in December of 1989.
White dust,
Yeah.
not gold dust.
It wasn't quite 8 inches, but Mother Nature decided to have her way with the Panhandle and parts of Alabama this weekend, dusting the area. It wasn't as deep as last year, but still, for the second year in a row, Panhandle became a winter first.
I think whether there's a millimeter or a foot, I think any kind of frozen precipitation in this area is quite notable.
Absolutely, no matter how old you are.
No.
Waking up to snow in Oakland County is always special. It just hits different down here.
Well, if it's anything, I had 0 snow at my residence.
Really?
None, not whatsoever. No frozen roof, no frozen grass, no icicles along the base of the mailbox or anything like that.
Well, over in the Overbrook neighborhood, which is kind of near the neighborhood behind the station over here.
Yes, it is.
The station's over by Beale Parkway next to the Joe's Rack House restaurant. Same shopping center, the Gap Creek Shopping Center is Silver Mine. That's probably been here the longest.
The old Lights Music Building used to be in this property.
That's right.
Spent many of hours there in my childhood,
Lights spelled Leitz.
which I believe is in either Niceville or Crestview now. It is not defunct, it is just moved.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about my birthday weekend.
Yes, let's hear about it.
It did check all the boxes. I got my rest, nostalgia, community, good food, playoff football, a little bit of snowfall on Sunday. It all kicked off Friday evening. Something I don't do often enough, and early bedtime. So I was a little exhausted after the show on Friday, believe it or not. It's mentally taxing doing 10 hours of radio a week. It's something I don't do often enough for sure. No obligations, no events, nothing on my schedule, no running around. That's exactly how I wanted to kick off my birthday weekend. Fly a little nice recharge before things. And let me tell you, that was the best gift I could have given myself.
You know, it's funny you brought that up because I did that Saturday night. And Sunday, my girlfriend called me and she said, "Were you drinking last night?" And I said, "No, why?" She goes, "Well, I called to say goodnight at 11 o'clock and you didn't answer." She goes, "So obviously you were already in bed." I was like, "Yeah, it just happened. It wasn't planned. I wasn't like, man, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed." I was watching one of the two playoff games on the TV. It was so enthralling that I started to doze off on the couch, and there was a few minutes left in the second quarter, and I woke up with 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in the game. So I said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and head down the hallway and call it a night.
At our age, we have the option to do that.
The only bad thing is when I do that, then I pop up at 4:50, 5 o'clock the next morning wide awake. Yes.
Sometimes I just need to scroll my phone for 30 minutes to just get back to sleep or take my first nap of the day. I don't know. But I didn't have to worry about it this weekend because I woke up to my actual birthday day, and it was a morning like I hadn't had in a long time. It was just so well rested. We went to this place called Camp Brooks. It's right here in Walton Beach. It's at the foot of the Oak Ridge. It's these 1940s cottages, probably used as like little apartment cottages back in the day. If you're in the local area, you got to check them out. They're painted in really cool, like pastel colors. They've been restored with really neat style, but they do keep a lot of that old Camp Walton charm. But there's like a fresh, modern polish to it. Danica Thornburg is going to be on our show on, I think it's tomorrow actually. She's going to be joining us tomorrow. She is the proprietor of the Camp Brooks cottages. And I tell you what, it feels like stepping back in time in like the best way possible.
You know the kind of person you are. I don't know if I could think of a better gift or a better retreat for you than something like that. And I bet that you could, if there's anybody can tell us how long they've been there, it could be you.
You know, they're little pieces of history, and they're definitely from the 1940s. At first I thought they may have been moved from Okaloosa Island. I had always heard a rumor that some of the cottages from the original Tower Beach in the 1930s were not destroyed, and they were relocated to different parts of the island, and maybe a few made it to that foot of the Brooks Bridge. I also think there's a good theory where they may have been part of this Camellia Motor Court back in the late 40s and early 50s. It was like a drive-up motel. What's our warning about the warning that we're going to be going to break soon? Yeah, that's just the beginning of things. I've only scratched the surface. Excellent birthday weekend, and yeah, we've got 2 hours to fill. We're going to have a rip-roaring good time doing it. We're going to be joined by Miss Debbie Riley in the 3:30 segment. She is a Walton Beach City Councilwoman. And a couple other surprises to spread out throughout the afternoon as well. Going to be here on Walton Beach, what we're doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, and a little bit of local history, a little bit of everything mixed in. We'll have a radio version of that there. Stick around.
You may qualify for a credit if you bought a new electric vehicle in 2000.
Well, you don't know, you never know about that device, because sometimes it's like a swing thing, so.
Well, I didn't have to turn it on, but the light, but I don't think I posted it.
Yeah, that's for the Southern Gentleman Sports Show. Like, he's got it. That's the Texas guy.
Bowling Green Bob.
Where's the phone call? We're coming back here.
Deep opal. Yes, I like the graphic that you posted, so I thought I would use it as my thumbnail. I appreciate that because it looks a lot better than what I had. And, obviously the Facebook Live gets more viewers, but the YouTube gets more viewers. But I thought it was cool. As I told you the other day, we had somebody listening from Turkey and somebody listening from Pakistan. Don't know if they could understand what we were saying, but they weren't listening. And before we get going, I do want to say a special shout out to a person and my aunt Maureen Horgan. Thank you, because every single day we can count on one person listening, and that means a lot.
Maybe one day she'll actually call in.
Or even come in.
And if she can't, well, that's true. I'd love to have that. But if you would like to call, or if anyone would like to call, 850-374-3468. The name of the show, Fort Walton Beach, Walton Beach. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Our afternoon interview segment of the day brought to you by Miracle Strip Body Shop. We have a couple guests actually today. And by a couple, I mean three. We have a few guests. At 3:30, we're going to be joined by Fort Walton Beach City Councilwoman Debbie Riley. At 4 o'clock, we're going to be joined by our good friend and sports guru, Mr. Irish Bill. So he's going to talk a little bit about NFL playoffs and the big national championship games tonight between the Hoosiers of Indiana and the Hurricanes of Miami.
I have a feeling he'll be talking a little bit about the NFL playoffs and a lot about tonight's national championship game.
Very true. And in addition to that, keeping with the sports theming, at 4:30, we're going to be joined by show friend and sports editor and reporter for the Northwest Florida Daily News, Mr. Seth Stringer. Thank you, Kevin Morgan, for arranging that.
Yes. Oh, and we're calling him, by the way.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just give you the
Yep. I'll hold it up on the glass or something like that. Yes, makes the dream work.
We are missing our third headset, Mr. Brady Brooks. He is on a camping retreat. He went to Blue Lake in Andalusia this weekend, and he wasn't entirely sure if he'd be back in time. He's probably really tired. They take your cell phone from you at that retreat.
And that's what I was trying to remember. My daughter had gone, this has been years, my daughter had gone 2 years in a row, and I couldn't remember if they took your cell phones or if you just got no signal because it's in rural Alabama in the middle of the woods. And no, but in this day and age, I wasn't thrilled about my daughter being in the middle of the woods in Alabama without a cellular device because it's 2024, 2025, 2026, and it's safe.
Right, and there's not an option of a payphone
or a pager. Right. Somebody call me from this number.
Yeah. We actually do have an old school phone here in the studio, and you can make it ring by giving us a call. 850-374-3468. I will do my best to try to answer it and patch you through to the airwaves without hanging up on you. That's usually Brady Brooks' expertise, one of his many. Brady, he's going to be working tomorrow at his job, Chick-fil-A. He works at on Beale Parkway. So if you ever want to stop in and say hello, it will be his pleasure. We'll probably be joined by him back in studio on Wednesday. It will be a full week since you have seen him.
Wow, it's been a while, and I'll be happy to see him back. But I will likely not see him till Friday. But next week I will be hitting the road southbound down 75 in the Turnpike to Walt Disney World proper. So I thought it would be cool if you'd like me to call in. I could call in from Epcot.
Oh, you definitely want that first-hand information. You do this every year. You're an annual pass holder. You're going for 8 days this time?
Oh no, just 3.5. I get 3 full days, 3 full park days, and I wake up the next morning and I make that decision debate that goes in my head. Do I just pack up and leave? Because I got to check out. But do I pack up and leave, or do I pack up the car, hit the parks for 2-3 hours, and then leave? And I've done it one way, I've done it the other. So we'll just see how it's a spur of the moment decision.
Well, your presence will be missed, certainly on days where Brady's not here.
Right. Well, hopefully we'll have a full week of Mr. Brooks next week, or Mr. Books.
Well, his actual work schedule precludes him from being here on Tuesday and Thursday. So
Oh, okay.
either way, I usually pack those days full of in-studio guests, and tomorrow will be no different. I will be joined in studio. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I really got to start writing this down better. But I know that I will be speaking with Miss Luisa Garcia, the owner of GI Jades. She has an upbringing in Venezuela, and she has a very a good first person account of the way things are shaping up, the way things have been in Venezuela for the last 15 years, and she has a good take on where things are moving forward. I guess I don't want to speak for her, but I'm really excited to have her on here. We were also going to be joined by Miss Danica Thornburg of the Camp Brooks Cottages. We were talking about in the last segment how I had an opportunity to visit these and take a tour of them. They're located at the foot of the Brooks Bridge. They are painted up in like pastel colors, but they still have a very quaint Camp Walton charm about them. They are nice, cozy Airbnbs, and it's really cool to see the community growing through the preservation of some of its historic artifacts like that.
And now that you brought up the specific location, I do know exactly what you're talking about. And I've always thought that they looked really cool, and they looked like they belonged here 30 or 40 years ago.
And my other guest for tomorrow will come to me eventually. I meant to write these down yesterday, but it's a good one. I know on Thursday I'm going to be joined by I'm really excited about Thursday. I'm going to be joined by the son and daughter of a very cool local icon. If you were a local here in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you will remember the name Austin. There goes Austin Joe. Austin Joe Davenport was a gentleman who set up a vegetable stand on Hollywood Boulevard, I believe is where it was. And for many years fought the city over permits and the right to be there, and was supported by a lot of people in the city. He actually served possum, he served raccoon, but most people got their collard greens and watermelons from him. But he was a fixture in this area for decades, and we're going to be graced with the presence of his son and daughter on Thursday afternoon. So that's going to be really exciting. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that will definitely be a cool segment.
So my birthday weekend, we talked about it a little bit in the last segment. It wasn't all things that I wanted to do, but one of the things that I was compelled to do is because this person was such a good person. Noah Brennan, who I affectionately refer to as Greenskeeper Noah, he had his celebration of life this Saturday at his boathouse in Destin. He's a longtime personality of Disney Golf. The turnout was exactly what you expect for someone who brought so much joy to so many people. And it was just one of those places where stories were shared and laughs were had and tears were shed and all that stuff. It just reminds just how strong this type of community is, and how many lives one person can touch just by showing up every day behind his personality. And that's really Noah, just doing it. He lived his life in a cool way and just made people smile and made people gravitate toward him. So being there felt like an honor. It was the right way to spend that Saturday of my birthday. After that, my girlfriend Jess and I let the night unfold with some playoff football, which we'll talk about in the next hour with our good friend Ira Still and Seth Stringer of the Northwest Florida Daily News. And we didn't have any sort of reservations or waiting for a table. I just wanted something chill. If we ate pizza that night and pizza on regular TV. And Are You Still Watching? And that's how the night ended. And of course, Sunday morning happened.
So was it pepperoni or plain cheese?
I always go for pepperoni and onion. That's my go-to.
I like the pepperoni without the ham.
And I also like Papa John's. Because I like
No.
dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is everything.
I would have to list my top two, at least in town, as Hungry Howie's Clear Cut #1, and #2 is a tie between Domino's and Lost Pizza Company.
Okay, so let me qualify. Let me go back. Lost Pizza Co. is the best pizza I've ever eaten.
Their wings are really good too. You get them, bring them home, put them in your air fryer for a couple more minutes, give that extra crisp. Outstanding.
The only thing is, I'll still have to get a pizza because I can't not. It was life changing. And also just the ambiance at Lost is really cool. I love the way they decorate the walls with the most random stuff, pop culture. They've got some video discs that competed with VHS. They're like laser disc size. Like they display really well. They got 8-track players and things all over the place. Old lighting play. Just the decor is real. It's like Cracker Barrel, but with a modern twist. The food is just right.
You know, even though we know it is, just the ambiance of the place makes it so hard to believe that that was a Waffle House.
That's right, it was a Waffle House. It was also part of Howard Johnson.
Yes, it was. But for the majority of its that building's tenure, I believe it was the Waffle House. And
So many Waffle Houses.
we were just talking. I was just talking to somebody at work yesterday who is from the West, and they do have their share of smattering of Waffle Houses, but he said they just don't compare to the ones here in atmosphere and taste. And he said atmosphere sometimes good, sometimes bad, but just in general, you're going to experience something if you go to the Waffle House during the hours this gentleman was mentioning.
For many, many years, there was that Waffle House that is now Lost Pizza Co. Then you could next go to the First Bridge, and there was one on the Walton Beach side of the First Bridge, and one on the Okaloosa side of the Okaloosa Island side of the First Bridge. Waffle Houses were there.
Shalimar,
That's right, Dan. Yep, and at the end of Racetrack Road too, near Bill Parkway.
good one. The newest one.
That's right. Hey, well, Walton Beach, what we are doing is lifting up the community and informing the community, and we're going to be doing that in the next half hour by talking with Walton Beach City Councilwoman Miss Debbie Riley. So stick around. Walton Beach, what we're doing with Kevin and Gary. Like 2 minutes. We're going 2 minutes. Is that okay?
My finger's in the way.
You got to read about the Creek Indians.
I'll check Max Press unless you're doing it.
Okay, no, I'm not. Go ahead.
No, not Max. You got to
First Franklin. All right. Pick it up or that or hit something. What? No. You mean
Try it out on him.
Since 1966, Walton Beach has trusted Miracle Strip Body Shop for
Hey, Debbie, it's here.
operated. You could call it
All right, I'm gonna put you on hold, okay? Thank you.
expertise. Miracle Strip Body Shop is in Capitol Hill.
When I want to bring her on, when I want to.
They're on the board, it's just right on the board now. Turn it on, switch it up, and then we're in there.
If I hit the blue button, if she were to say something, it would come on.
I'm going to have to pause this to check the FHSAA basketball.
How do you think Dr. King would look at the state of Okaloosa County these days? How do you think Dr. King would look at the state of Okaloosa County these days? Have things improved from the 1960s? Where have we come? Where have we come as a country? How do you think that you would look at it? Her name is Debbie Riley. She is Walton Beach City Councilman, and she is doing a fantastic job. I love your message. I have about 28 seconds left before the meeting starts, but I gotta ask you real quick. We are a small town. Your last name is Riley. I went to a bus stop in middle school with a Blanchette Riley. Are you related? Ms. Riley, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to have you back on the show once again sometime in the future. Maybe you can come into the studio with us. You're listening to Fort Walton Beach and what we're doing. We're going to get you back in studio someday, ma'am. Ain't my life. Okay. Are you still there? Are you still there? Are you still there? Okay. Yeah, we had a hard break there, so I'm sorry about that. But I would love to have you back to come into studio sometime and we could spend like a half hour or an hour, however long you want. We can talk about whatever you want. Perfect. Yes, you have a blessed day, okay? Thank you.
Active Energy Generation Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for health and energy.
Huh? Yeah, every morning with her.
With the building empty though, right?
Yeah.
Or have you done it?
Never, because it doesn't close very well.
Yeah, I was thinking.
It's coming back. The DJ spinning that country style. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, everybody. I guess I'm the DJ spinning the country style in this scenario. It's a little Country Girl Shake It For Me by Luke Bryan.
Is he related to Daniel Bryan?
No, Kevin, I never listened to country music growing up. I was not a country music guy. And it took divorce for me to start listening to country music. Because I needed to listen to music that did not remind me of the previous 20 years of my life. Because everything, Christmas reminded me of that. Florida State football games reminded me of that. So everything that I did that was associated with the previous 2 decades, I just wanted it to be out of sight, out of mind. And you know what I found out about country music? I still don't like most of it. But every now and then there's a banger in there that makes good karaoke.
I have never been a country fan, but I have always heard the moniker that it's a depression type music. It's music for when you're down in the dumps, depressed, lonely, sad, that kind of
I
stuff.
will say this is an epiphany I had about music. I have always been a tune guy. I like a melody. I like a song that's got 4 chords, that's got a key change in the 3rd verse. It really gets really loud, and then there's like a mouth, and then sort of ties everything. I want the song to tell a story, but I never really paid attention to the lyrics or the meaning of the lyrics. They were just sounds that went along with the
Yeah, very.
When I started to be an adult and experience life situations kicking me in the butt, I actually listened to songs that I liked just for the musical theory of it all, and it was like being reborn and listening, experiencing the song all the way over again. There's some really, really great written songs, and those words actually mean something as an adult when life is kicking you in the ass a little bit.
Yeah, I know that there is some big times and some guys that have really written some deep stuff. George Strait comes to mind. Uh, Billy Ray Cyrus, because in Achy Breaky Heart, everybody's had one at some point in their life.
That's right. He actually appeared at the Mole Festival in 1992.
I will never forget that. It was, I believe, at that point, if not still, it was a record crowd.
Yeah, well, he actually booked that before the song took off, that Achy Breaky song.
Wow.
Our song. And he almost backed out because of the huge were around that time. It took off. The same way that the Macarena took off, the same way that Mbop took off.
Livin' La Vida Loca.
Yeah, perfect example.
And that night that Billy Ray Cyrus played the Mullet Festival, with the fame that he got out of that song, that's probably a night he could have played an 20,000 seat arena.
Very true. Very true. Thank you so much once again to Miss Debbie Riley for Walton Beach City Councilwoman who joined us in the last segment. That was part one of our afternoon interview segment of the day, sponsored by Miracle Strip Body Shop over on Racetrack Road. We're going to be mentioning that business a couple more times today because in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by our good friend and sports guru, Mr. Irish Bill. He wears a lot of different hats around this community. He is the play-by-play guy for the Bar Raiders football. He is just he's got his own IB Sports webpage and Facebook group that is very consistently updated with excellent in-depth sports coverage and analysis. He is a one-stop shop for all things college football. We are really excited to get his diction on the game.
And that's one thing I keep meaning to ask Bill. I don't know if this is a football season only thing, but he does host a weekly show live on YouTube from Culver's, which I've always been quite jealous of, just because Culver's is delicious. The cheese curds are amazing. I've never had their fries because their cheese curds are so good.
I always forget about Culver's. You know what else I always forget about? I forget about Pounded over there on Walton Market.
I have it quite a bit. I have never had the one in Fort Walton, but my mother has one near her in the Niceville, Valparaiso area, and she brings it to me quite often. And so, and I drive by the one in Pensacola every week, and I never stop there either. But I've had the one in Niceville, and it's very good. If you like a little pineapple kick to everything you eat, a little pineapple teriyaki kick, you'll quite enjoy it.
Are you a pineapple on pizza guy?
Absolutely not.
Only on the side?
Only on, not at all. I'm a pepperoni or a plain cheese pizza guy. If I'm really feeling jiggy, I will get pepperoni and jalapeno.
That's different. I don't remember that from your childhood.
No, that is something probably within the last 5 or 10 years, and this is, maybe once out of every 10 times. It's not something that's a regular occurrence.
Are there any other foods like that that were just an absolute no-go for you when you were a kid, but at some point in your life, either maybe you just had the gumption to try it, or maybe your taste buds changed, and now it's like, wow, I've been missing out. Is there anything that falls into that category for you?
2 things: fried eggplant and salt and vinegar potato chips.
Wow.
I will get eggplant parmesan over chicken parmesan every day of the week, which, if anybody knows me, that is a shock. Yes.
The first time, how did it?
I don't remember. I do remember that it was around 99, maybe 2000 is when that happened. That's about all I can tell you.
Yeah, my weird thing, I've always hated mayonnaise. Let me preface it, I still hate mayonnaise. I don't like the smell of mayonnaise. And the weird thing is, I love the components of mayonnaise. Like, I'm a big egg fan, and there's not much else to it.
Ranch, sour cream, all that. Mayonnaise is the main ingredient.
So for 35 years of my life, I went without ever even trying ranch because I knew it was a huge component of mayonnaise. It wasn't just that it's the same color of it, so it's already off-putting visually for me. And I don't know, I put a twinge of it somewhere, and it wasn't horrible, so I allowed it to stay on whenever it was on, and now I love ranch.
So now it's moved into a main event slot.
I'm trying to make up for lost
Yes, by dipping everything in ranch.
Yeah, I'm constantly looking for new things to dip into ranch.
Right, besides your fingers.
In fact, Combos has a new ranch flavoring.
I did not know that. So do goldfish.
Do they really?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And Ritz crackers.
Ritz.
Ritz crackers, you had your regular Ritz crackers for years. Now they have cheddar, they have ranch, sour cream and onion. They have all kinds of different flavors.
One thing that still has been growing out of it, I do not want lettuce on anything. I'll eat
It's
lettuce
same.
plain. I don't want, if I'm eating a hot burger, I don't want anything cold on it that cancels it out.
Now that's I am the same way. I lettuce, tomato, pickles. I can eat them on their own. I cannot eat them on anything.
Yeah, well, I didn't know we're going here in this direction. I got 3 minutes here on the Oklahoma County School Board. In local education news, we're seeing some significant developments in the upcoming Oklahoma County School Board elections and leadership. Longtime school board member Dr. Lamar White has announced he will not seek re-election this year. Dr. White, who has represented District 1 since 2014, has served on the board for 12 years and previously spent 35 years as an educator, coach, administrator, and principal within the Oklahoma County school system. During his career, he worked at nearly every level, from teaching in classrooms to leading many middle schools to a string of A grades for academic performance. White says stepping aside now will give the community ample time to thoughtfully select the next representative for District 1, and he expressed deep gratitude for the opportunity to serve students, families, educators, and his colleagues over the years. Dr. White's decision opens the door for new leadership, and one of the first candidates to step forward is Mr. J.D. Peacock, who officially launched his campaign for the school board District 1 seat earlier this week. Peacock is a lifetime resident of Oklahoma County and a Shalimar local. He brings a long record of service to the table. After serving in the U.S. Army, he spent 25 years in the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office, rising up the rank of Major and Chief of Administration before being elected as Oklahoma County Clerk of Courts and Comptroller in 2014. In announcing his bid, Peacock emphasized 3 priorities: supporting teachers, love that; improving school facilities, definitely love that; and ensuring transparency and accountability in how the district operates. Do you not love that? He spoke directly about giving educators the tools and environment they need to succeed in standing up for strong families and community collaboration as part of his platform. Quote, as District 1 becomes an open seat for the first time in more than a decade, this race is shaping up to be one of the key local elections to watch in 2026. That, we're going to continue to bring you candidate announcements, platforms, and updates leading into the spring election cycle. Look, small town, you and I graduated high school with Dr. White's son, Ben White.
Yes.
With him and everything. I played a little basketball with him back in the day. I was in the next band. I played trombone and he played trumpet.
You know what sticks out to me is he played left-handed guitar. Much like you, yes, much like you. I think you had a left-handed Fender acoustic at one point. Right.
Even at age 48, my fingers feel like they've never done any work at all, and they do. And the bottoms of my feet are the same way. I have very soft, and I'm just rolling with it. It's a gift I've been given, and the guitar was definitely messing up the. I didn't want to show some calluses.
But it was pretty cool to play that opening riff of Enter Sandman. You got to admit.
Nothing else matters.
Fade to Black 1 and Fade to Black 1 and Sanitarium are all the exact same frets and strings. It's just a different strumming pattern.
And I also learned the beginning of Stone Temple Pilots Watch.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that.
The end of it all. That was fun though.
You were glancing over at your pizza phone while you watched that.
Right. I let my brother borrow that guitar and we lost it along the way.
Surprise, surprise.
I love you, Josh. Phone the show sometime.
I don't think that's a good idea.
850-374-3468. We're going to be joined in the 4 o'clock hour by Mr. Irish Bill. He's going to talk a little bit about why Notre Dame isn't playing for the national championship tonight, and I guess who he wants to win besides anyone named Notre Dame. Listen to Walton Beach, what we're doing, sticking around.
Is this the long break?
Yes.
Buddy.
That was a 1992 game between Notre Dame and
Boston College though. In fact, you briefly saw what? Yeah, they had people like in Georgia Tech outfits and stuff. But I saw like the sideline interview what they did with the guy who played there, Barseed, and then they showed us a shot of Sean Astin on the sideline.
You know, it's funny how many of these movies about somebody were the person that kid in the movie you don't know it, like Ruby. Peter Benchley was a reporter for the news in Jaws. The guy that wrote Friday Night Lights was in the movie and the TV show. So I like how they split it in that. God, they got a good show. What do you think they have?
Eternal Sports Network. So who I gotta call? Okay, on air will be that.
Right? You got the download.
Took me to figure that out too.
We can ask about Ricky Water's rocket issue.
Hello, Irish Bill. How are you?
See Rick Meyer.
Chicken farm every day, he says. Yeah.
Rick Meyer likes implant farm.
All right, well, let's see if I can put you on hold without hanging up on you. All right.
That's the last night is shoot right along, 34 o'clock. And the last hour still.
Wanking.
Oh my God.
Comes on 6:30 with anything or 7:08. It's always a weird time. It's like World Series and NBA finals are always a weird time, like 7:07 p.m. I don't know what that's for. Probably some
The best team to slam the national championship but not win was, I think it was Florida State team in 2000 against Oklahoma. They lost 13-2. That was the one where Snoop Minnis
Did something I got suspended.
What about the Florida State team that lost to Pete Martin? Because if they wouldn't have had Martin out, whoever got hurt, that was right up there.
definitely. But Miami
It
in
was
2001.
I'll talk to you about this. This embodies all David Smith. Okay, I had no idea who he was. Yeah, no idea who he was. He was with my cousin Joey hanging out the night before. He knows my sister. He knows my mom. He knows my other cousin. That embodies all these, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Shows up. Each chessmate's a one-man game.
George Gray.
Yes, and that's how we got him to autograph our thing. That's way more Fred people than what they do. Or Fred the team. I would say Fred the team.
I would actually take a team. Although I get why people like the one man game, I knew a team before the one man.
Yeah, yeah. Rubber split.
That's what I started watching was when the Twin Towers were basically formed.
Yeah. What? The never held the track.
did something like that in the building, and you dropped off.
The music never gets old. Never gets old. I don't even care about the Central Station with violation for that. But yeah, that's the music for Rudy, the soundtrack to Rudy, which was a famous 1993 movie about it's based on a true story, mildly based on a true story. Mr. Rudy Rudiger, 5'0" nothing, walked on at Notre Dame and got him for one play and made a sack and the only person carried off the field at Notre Dame Stadium for very many years, and there will be nobody carried out of Notre Dame Stadium this year. And that disappoints our next part of the break. We are joined in studio every Monday at 4:06 for our afternoon interview segment of the day, brought to you by the Miracle Trip Body Shop on Racetrack Road. But before we bring our Phil on the phone today, we do have a massive college football showdown tonight. The national championship game between the Hoosiers of Indiana and Miami. And talking about the Hurricanes, not Miami of Ohio. And this one is loaded with history. Indiana is chasing what would be the greatest comeback in modern college football. A program that has spent literal decades in the basement now sits one win away from its very first ever national title. They've gone undefeated. They've beaten the Giants. They've gotten a Miami-born Heisman-winning quarterback returning home to try to finish the job. On the other side, Miami trying to obtain its former glories. The Hurricanes haven't won a national championship since 2001. They didn't even play for their ACC championship this year, and now they get the chance to snap that 25-year drought right in their own backyard at Hard Rock Stadium. If there's ever been a moment for the U to rise again, tonight, it's a classic matchup. The upstart on a miracle run versus the powerhouse trying to return to the throne. And with that, let's bring in the man who always has the numbers, the trends, and the insight. Irish Bill joins us now. Bill, how you doing, my friend?
Playoffs?
Yeah, it is what it is, and you're gonna get it next year as well when Notre Dame is put into the preseason top 5 or whatever, and it's a similar 8. How are you gonna put in a top 5 game that didn't even make the college football playoffs last year? That's just based off of reputation, and it's just to lift up these good teams so they can, when they do lose, they can say they're highly ranked and they experience the quality loss.
Yeah. I disconnect everything that I didn't know what it was. They had shit in our office.
Yeah, speaking of teams that are off to a great start already for next year, Oregon received some great news in Dante Moore, the projected #1 draft pick in this year's NFL draft, opted to stay in college and return to Oregon for another year. And that is really good news for Oregon, especially considering they just received the transfer portal services of Dylan Raiola, who's now probably thinking, maybe I reconsider this.
I gotta look up right now. Oh, that's right. Well, I know I'm working Monday morning.
Yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see how well a player like Fernando Mendoza, who is now the presumed #1, will fit in a city like Sin City, Las Vegas. He is such a clean-cut individual, so maybe it's a perfect fit. Who knows? Kevin.
Thanks.
Obviously, it is a transfer portal
player.
Carson Beck.
I would. Okay, yeah, I would not have guessed that. What a good decision on his part to transfer at the right time. Well, Kurt Cignetti over Indiana has just done a remarkable job working within the portal and figuring out a way to populate a team with men, grown men, fourth and fifth year, sixth-year seniors, people who might not have been a 4 or 5-star out of high school, but someone who was a solid 3-star who got many snaps on maybe a mid-major team. That's who he sought out to build a team around, and you can't buy that sort of experience. Well, I guess you can buy that experience in the NIL, but he spent his money in a way that was a little bit non-traditional. I guess he figured out a way to use maybe a little more limited lit resources, and it was just outside the box thinking. And I'm so impressed by the turnaround. It's one of the most historic storylines that college football has experienced for years.
You know, now I'm not so sure that it's such an underdog, limited resource story now that I hear Mark Cuban is funding Indiana's NIL. It's a game changer, Bill.
You know,
And which should be a home game for Miami, but I have a feeling it will not be so. Bill, how do you find the room for that? Because I have driven by that newer Buffalo Wild Wings out your way several times, and I don't know if I've ever seen a Buffalo Wild Wings or any restaurant consistently that crowded. Yes. That's really cool. Yeah, I was wondering if the Culver show was just during football season. But if it continues next year, don't forget about us because we like football and we like Culvers. And that's the same way we felt, Gareth, when we did the Niceville and St. Augustine game from the bleachers. You never know who could have ended up on the air.
I love that about that. There's something to be said about actually doing the play-by-play among the throng.
And I think it was plain and simply the natural crowd noise.
Yeah.
It is still there, and they have built a quite large apartment complex just on the other side of that. But yes, it is still there.
All right, Bill, you gonna stick around for one more second with us? All right, we appreciate it. That's Irish Bill, our resident sports guru. He's with us every Monday. You're listening to Walton Beach, what we're doing with Garrett and Kevin in studio today. If you want to give us a call, 850-374-3468. We're going to step away with Bill. Stick around.
But not this bill.
Bill, do you know the speech?
You know the New Rocky speech by heart.
Oh, man. Well, that'll be an assignment for maybe next week when we give our recap of the national championship, which unfortunately Notre Dame did not get the opportunity to play in this year. I'm very familiar with that sort of heartbreak. Florida State fan here, checking in. I think that has much to do with Florida. What a catastrophe, what a downfall we've had. Don't let that happen to your team. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. You guys have sort of reloaded, and I think that you're going to be annoyingly in that preseason top 10 next year, just like you are every year.
Bill, if your football team, Bill, your football or your basketball coach showed a little fire last weekend. Oh wow,
Be like that.
Calbert Cheney. Right.
And do you root for Purdue and lacrosse? Okay, what about IUPUI? What are they calling it? The Indiana University for University of Indiana.
What about the Fighting Larry Birds of Indiana State? Yes, sir. Yeah, he was there for what, 3 days and met Bobby Knight and said, "See ya."
He also got homesick. I watched a couple of Larry Bird videos where people were talking about the trash talk that he did in the 1980s, and now my scrolling every fifth video of
Yes.
going through baseball through Facebook is a similar Larry Bird story, and I'm not disappointed by that. I have a newfound respect for my childhood hero that I didn't realize the big impact that he had on players. That just didn't think that he was going to be able to ride up to their level of conversation.
And I think my favorite one, Gareth, is the Rick Barry, who is also an NBA Hall of Famer. Rick said that he said he had the dubious honor of guarding Larry one night when he played for the Cavs in '84, and he said at halftime Larry only had 6 points, and so he said I made the mistake of saying something to Larry headed to the tunnel at halftime, and he said Larry came out in the second half and hit 10 shots in my face. He said he hit the last 2 left-handed, and then he turned to me and said, "Rick, I hope your parents aren't here tonight." Yes. Now, Bill, is that still the highest rated college basketball national championship game to this point, or has something else trumped that? I know for a very long time it was.
I think it's for its historical significance. I believe that there has not been a team to run the table since Indiana of 75-76.
No, Keith Smart and company, that was the last undefeated team.
Miami of Ohio has a shot.
Miami of Ohio and Arizona, I know, are both still unbeaten, and Nebraska in basketball undefeated. Bill, a question I have always wondered that you are the guy that could answer it. In Larry Bird's tenure, did Indiana State ever play Indiana? I did not think so because they went undefeated.
Back in those days, when those 3 days that Larry Bird stayed with the Hoosiers, that caused him to have to sit out for a year. So he only got I believe 2 years of college playing time with the Sycamores.
Yeah, Diego Pavia would not be happy about that. which was, I believe, their closest game was it not James Madison or Old Dominion in week one? Yeah, and you know who would have thought an 11-point home win against Old Dominion? Who'd have thought they had been playing for the national championship? 3 months later. What a story! That's right. Also, it's former Choctahatchee shooting guard Reggie Robinson played at Old Dominion. Just not football, basketball. Class of 1997. So, Bill, as our resident for Walton Beach, what we're doing sports expert, I have made my picks on a certain sports book. I'd like your opinion on it. I picked Indiana to win outright. I picked Mendoza to throw for more than one touchdown, and I picked Carson Beck to throw for more than one interception or more. Do you feel it's safe? And we saw those poor performances in big games at Georgia several times.
Of American heritage.
Bill, is RJ Surratt available tonight? Because he was available for picks on the sports book today.
That's right. He was the guy that at the end of the end zone.
Good grab, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Indiana put a hurting on Oregon twice this year.
And you know what I thought was really impressive, Bill, last week is Mendoza threw for 5 touchdowns and he didn't even break 180 yards passing, did he? And that's. And do you think Indianaville has any advantage of having that bye in which Miami played in the first round of the CFP?
Bill, there are discussions happening among commissioners of college football in expanding the college football playoff next year. Options are 16 teams or 24 teams. We're staying where we are. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, there's something to be said about Illinois State, who had 4 losses this year and beat the odds and made it to the national championship and went into overtime and made it competitive. So, yeah, I know that's one level down, and it may be an apples to oranges comparison, but I like the idea of expanding it. I don't know if 24 is too much. I definitely think 16 though, because it really doesn't add any additional weeks to what we have now. Because we're essentially giving 4 teams a bye and playing a week anyway. So let's just make, remove the buys for those 4 teams, we'll add it to 16 teams, we won't change any other format beyond that, we'll do the regular bowl season after that first week. You'll have 8 of the first teams ranked 1 through 8 as home teams, home games in that first round of the playoffs. I think that's probably the best way. That's a really great point.
I mean, we're less than 2 months away from the NCAA basketball tournament.
It's only going to get worse next year because the schedule is out and the national championship next year will take place on January 27th, 8 further days from where we are right now. So great point. Yeah, we should probably start them a little sooner, or maybe move week 0 up another week.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. It's like having 11 on the guitar amp. All right, well, his name is Irish Bill. He is our resident college football and all-around sports guru. He joins us every Monday. Thank you so much, Irish Bill. We will be joining you next week and maybe even a little sooner. Who knows? Listen to Walton Beach, what we're doing with Kevin and Garrett. Stick around. We're going to be joined by Mr. Seth Stringer of the Northwest Florida Daily News. Bill, you there? Bill, you there? Bill? All right, bro.
Call Culver's. I am Maureen. Thanks for watching. I don't know if you heard me give you your shout out earlier, but thank you. We have one guaranteed listener every day, so I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Love you.
Okay. So Darian Mensah, how does he feel about his potentially being swiped on the very last day of the transfer portal and taken by Miami?
I don't put too much into the transfer portal until.
Well, let me go ahead and give him a call.
Hopefully it's gonna reroute me on my phone.
Hey, it's Garrett. Trying to put you on the radio. I guess it's not my number. Seth? Hey, bud, how you doing? Doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on hold. I'm gonna try not to hang up on you whilst doing so, all right? If I were to take the call.
Like Charlie Perkins getting Shane McMahon, doesn't he?
What a performer. I mean, what a performer. And the lead guy that would have to do that except for maybe Trump. Yeah. But like I look forward to every single game, every single match. Even the Blackman match.
Yeah, that was his biggest bump. The elite caliber match he had
What's the freaking connection? That's just a big old freaking bump. Did Jeff fill that for you? Has that been a chef text ever or what?
This year or not?
I don't have water, so if you're.
I'm safe.
That is Seth MacFarlane singing with the John Wilson Orchestra. I chose that because our next interview, continuing with our afternoon interview segment of the day, sponsored by Miracle Strip Body Shop over there on Racetrack Road. Thank you again, Mr. James Davis, for believing in this program and sponsoring it and having your business named all throughout it. You have the opportunity to come in and talk about your business.
It's Jack. You might want to talk about football.
Look at that. We're 48 years old and figuring it out. We're not even.
Hey, I have an iPhone too. I know what I'm doing.
All right. Well, I need to hit that right button or is it there? Seth Stringer, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The chaos is just ensuing. You are the sports writer for the Northwest Florida Daily News, colloquially referred to as the mullet rapper. Seth, does it bother you when you hear the term mullet rapper? Tell us what's going on in your life. You're transitioning basketball, and you're going to come on the pulse of a lot of do you follow college football?
That's what Greg Thomas told me. How about Florida going on the road and getting a big win against number 10 Vandy in Memorial Gymnasium, where the benches are on the baseline and we know it's a hard place to win? I don't know if you saw any of that game, but it was quite the barn burner. That 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 front line is something else with Chenyulu and Alex Condon. Tommy Howe, who had one Division 1 offer, which was Florida, is going to play himself into being a lottery pick. No, that was Xavier Lee, the Princeton transfer. So you know he's a smart guy. Seth, one question I did want to ask you is we are nearing the end of the local high school basketball season. I assume I know where you will be this Friday night, as the same place I will be this Friday night. So I just thought, if that's okay with you, if you were down, maybe we could talk a little bit about how the playoffs are looking as of now. So in 6A, we'll start with the girls' side. In 6A, we'll have Niceville as of now, the latest FHSA rankings. They have Niceville as the 2 seed and Navarre as the 3 seed. So they will both host as of now. Those are the only 2 teams in 6A in our coverage area playoff. 5A, Choctaw's flip-flopping with Pine Forest between the 4 and 5 seeds. So whether you host or travel, that's not a long trip, and being district opponents, you're going to be, third meeting of the year, going to be very familiar with them. 4A, Fort Walton is a 2 seed and a little out of our coverage area, but Pensacola High is the 4 seed. So just real quick, I know Navarre beat Niceville, but with Carson Fayard and the new person, I can't think of her name, that transferred over there. Is your outlook for Niceville the same as it was at the beginning of the season? Because they've had some losses we did not expect. By double digits, no less. Yeah, they're there every year, too. Right. Right, and I was happened to go to the Choctaw Fort Walton girls game Friday night. Very competitive game. Now Fort Walton did win, but I will tell you, Seth, Fort Walton did not lead one time in that game until the final 50 seconds of the game, And to come out with a 2-point loss against Fort Walton with Diaris Morales only scoring 2 free throws the entire game, I think Choctaw played well. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. In basketball, he is very intimidating. Correct. Yeah. You mind holding after the break for one more segment? We definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Walton Beach, what we're doing. Stick around for one more segment. All right, all right. Not familiar with that Dave Matthews band? Kevin?
No, I am not a Dave Matthews sympathizer.
Yeah, that's something I learned about in my adult years. I've probably been about 20 concerts of it.
Figure Dave Matthews is kind of fits under that moniker like country music is something you don't want to listen to anymore.
Yeah, you know what? But I'm taking my power back with Dave because as much as I disagree with him on a personal level and a lot of things worldly, which he brings into his concerts, which I don't appreciate, I still really enjoy the music and the atmosphere.
Well, one thing I'll give Dave, he does an amazing cover of the timeless classic "Don't Fear the Reaper." Did you ever hear him do that live?
Well, I mean, probably. I know I've heard all on the Watchtower. He does a great cover.
Yes.
He does Sledgehammer. It's really good hammer. Really good job.
It's a good hammer too.
Yeah. Well, it's hammer time with Seth Stringer, who has graciously allowed us a few more minutes of his time to close out the show today. For what we're doing is the name of the show here on FM 94.3 FTW every Monday through Friday from 3 to 5. Thank you so much for sticking around, Seth. Do you have a take on tonight's national championship game between Miami Hurricanes and Indiana Hoosiers down there in Miami?
13 years.
They were wearing leather helmets when he started.
And did you guys see the interview he had this weekend where the reporter asked if he had class today, and he said, "Oh no, I graduated 2 years ago."
Yeah, so he's doing nothing over there. He's not, yeah, even though it's been 25 years since the U has won a national championship, they still have five, and there's still an expectation of excellence there, even though they've never won an ACC championship, and they didn't play for one this year, and yet here they are playing for national championship in their home stadium. It's there are storylines on both sides. I can't decide. Logic tells me that no one has been able to stop. I mean, the closest team that stopped Indiana this year was Penn State.
Old Dominion, actually.
Yeah, but did that come down to a touchdown that just was a tiptoe ballerina catch?
No, but I think it was a one possession final
Well, either way, every team has at least some game like that along the way. Miami had a couple of them where they lost.
to Louisville. So continuing on, Seth, and the girls, all we got left is 3A, where Freeport is the 3 as of now. South Walton is the 4. I don't know if they meet again. You know more about these two teams than I do, but as of now, it looks like they would both host the first round. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Now, and like you said, in these lower classifications, the lower classification, you do play football, basketball at least one less game. I'm not sure where they moved it. I know it's I think Polk Community College, maybe. Yes, we have, and it's been a quiet drive home. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The year with Jamil Bowles and the Ezra McKenna, Jace Brown, that one really sticks out to me. That's the most sure I've been that we were gonna get that elusive state title, and Pembroke Pines absolutely annihilated us. Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And nobody came within single digits the rest of them. And we had John Barnes, Choctaw's new coach, on the show earlier in the week, and I know he's from this area, and I did say it's very weird to see Crestview basketball without Greg Watson. Yeah, you never see him get high, you never see him get low.
I do see him at karaoke though.
Unreal. Yeah. And Greg Watson, I think plain and simple, I don't think anybody did more with less. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have basketball players. They just have a bunch of athletes, and they shoot 3 pointers very well, and they'll beat you. Uh, in the I can only imagine with Greg Watson. I bet it was a hoot. Yeah. And I think Thigpen probably gave off a little less outgoingness than Greg Watson did. Seth, on the boys' side of it, all we really have is a Fort Walton is a 5 seed in 4A right now, and South Walton is a 3A, 7 seed in 3A. We have 1 minute left, and that's about all we got in the boys. It has not been a good year for the playground area boys teams. They are a 5 seed right now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but you know how it is, Seth, and we appreciate you joining us. You know how it is in rivalry games. Everybody is even and everybody is 0-0.
Seth Stringer of the Northwest Florida Daily News. Thanks for stringing us along all day long. More than what we're doing.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, all right.